This is Roberto Lizarraga from Infinitum Obscure, and you're watching Northern Fury. The band started in late 2000. Me and the original drummer back then, me and him started the band. And he left in 2005. And there's been a lot of lineup changes, so actually I'm the only original member and the founding member. So, but I mean, you know, I keep it going, and you know, always try to have the best lineup possible. And right now it's a really, really, really nice lineup, and it's a really good level of musicianship, and everybody is into the ideal of the band, which is not only just the music, but there's a message behind it, you know. It's actually a single. It's just that it was released on CD, and we still don't know if it's gonna be done on vinyl. Hopefully, I'm still talking to the label about it. But the idea of that, you know, a lot of people are like thinking, like you said, oh, it's an EP or it's a mini CD. I don't know if you really. I'm sure you remember that. You know, when we were, you know, younger, you know, a band would first put out a single before putting out an album. And then you'd get, you know, the song and the single, and then like a B-side or a couple of B-sides. You know, you remember, I don't know, you name it, Iron Maiden, Priest, Depeche Mode, you name it. You know. So you would always get like a single previous to the full length. You know? So that was the idea behind this little release, to do like a pre-album release. You know.
You guys had a new track on it. You've got a reissue of a track.
It's a re-recording, so that would be one of the B-sides, and the other B-side is a Bathory cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys all big Bathory fans?
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of bands that have done Bathory covers already, and even like, you know, as like in a way of like official tributes and whatever. That wasn't the idea of it. The idea of it was just that that particular song is personal inspiration, you know. And you know, it wasn't about trying to be part of like oh, let's do a Bathory cover so we can be cool, you know. Like I don't care about that. We don't care about that at all. We just wanted to do something that was part of our personal inspiration, because particularly those lyrics, you know, have to do with personal ideals of, you know, inspiration and, like I said, motivation. So, and also because, you know, we're trying to expand our sound a little bit, and we thought that maybe that particular cover, since it has like female vocals and a different vocal approach, like on the main vocals and stuff, I said, well, let's try something different, you know, not just do like the typical Slayer cover, you know, or something. Nothing. I mean, I love Slayer, but you know, let's just try to do something different, you know. And it came out great, I think. The Path to Apocalypse, because in Internal Dark Force, that song sounded like ass. Yeah, it's a particular story in that particular song. When we recorded that album, you remember I was saying earlier in the first question that you asked me when the band formed, that was the last album we did, me and the original drummer together, and he quit in the middle of the recording session of that. So he left that song undone, that particular song. And so what you listen to in the CD, it's really sounds like shit because it's like out of time and whatever. But because we recorded that album in an analog tape, so to fix it and to complete it was kind of like a weird mission, because the engineer in the studio, he had to literally cut and paste the tape back and forth, you know, to try to get like the complete song, because the song was unfinished, and that's hard. Yeah, that was very hard, and you know, it came out how it came out, but it's a little bit off in certain times and stuff. So, and back in those days, we never played that song live. So now, I don't know, it's just a couple of years ago, it popped in my head like, hey, whatever happened, that was a great song, you know, like, and we never played it live until recently. We started jamming to it, and we felt, hey, this is a great song. Why should we leave it like like it was? Because to us, we didn't really like the result from that, from that recording, and so we said, like, let's re-record it.
Awesome.
And now it's we just wanted to make justice for it, to give it a proper sound, and I mean, nothing changed. The structure is the same, the song is the same, the lyrics are the same, everything is the same. It's just new recording. It's a painting that from 1864, if I'm not mistaken. It's a painting from a Polish artist. His name is Witold Pruskowski. I hope I got the pronunciation correct. It's an old piece, and what you see in it is Venus falling in the form of Lucifer, the fallen angel. But there's a very particular thing about that painting. I've always liked that painting, like, for many years, and I always thought, it would be cool to use it somehow, and we did. And the thing is that particular idea is that there is a ray of light that is illuminating the angel that is falling in the forehead,
Right. It's the.
Yes. So that is actually the but the ray of light that's hitting the forehead, that's the focus, that's the emphasis, that's the ideal behind what we do, and individual illumination and individual excellence. You can say it like that.
Love that.
And that separates the self from the herd, in a way. Society's herd, the rat race or whatever. So that's the idea behind the band, and that's the idea behind all the lyrics, and that's the idea behind this single. And the thing is that song, the main song, the title track, is a hymn to Lucifer, to the fallen angel, in the form of Lucifer's light, or the illumination that the individual can obtain from the light of Lucifer, being the gnosis that you can put in practice in your life to separate yourself from the rest and be yourself and follow your own path. That's the idea about it. It's in the works, yes. The whole album is written. It's just that we were supposed to record this album 2 years ago, actually, or like a year and a half ago. But these lineup changes keep happening, and the band has been dealing with this during its whole entire history. But we manage, and right now the lineup is really, really solid. And like I said, I really feel, even though I've said this a few times in the past 13 years, but this is really different now. There's some more confidence, and everybody's really into it big time. Even as friends, we get along very, very, very well. And that's something new in the band, because before, even though we were band members and stuff, so a lot of times you would have like little personal differences, and stuff. But now there's none of that. Everything just feels like natural, and everything is falling into its own place by itself, And it feels really nice for a change to have the actual dedicated musicians, that are not only musicians, but that embrace the concept of the band, because that's really hard when you have a concept that you have to portray, that it's actually the mission of the band, not just the music. The music is a channel, it's a conveyance, but I think it goes hand in hand. The topics, or the idealism has to go hand in hand with good music. It's to have something that's worthwhile. Not just empty music. Yeah, the idea behind it, like I said, like I was saying, about the main topic of the band, and like the focus, the subject of the band, or the way that we do what we do, is search for individuality. Like to separate yourself from the rest and just follow your own path and your own ideals and create your own ways. You know, even though we live in society, but it doesn't mean you have to be what society says that you should be. You know, what it says there is that it's sort of I guess, a misanthropic ideal behind it. The idea of that is that most of humanity, that or a lot, or most of the people that are just living a common life and just following, like I was saying earlier, the rat race or whatever, this not thinking by themselves and just going along with the flow. I think that it ends up being just people that don't transcend, or anything that they do, they just doesn't transcend. And sometimes it just seems like most of these people just take up space. That's the idea behind the end of humanity and the transcendence of the inner flame. Why the transcendence of the inner flame? Because the people who actually search within themselves to establish themselves in themselves and make a difference. And then that work that you do when you're alive, it transcends. It leaves a mark here, even though if you pass on, there's a transcendence of what you were in life, and that carries on through time. It's timeless, and that's like an inner fire that individual has. And some people don't realize that they have it, maybe because they're just too blinded by everyday life, or like the system, or whatever you want to call it. But the idea is to
The Bible. Sorry.
well, no, I mean, not necessarily that. The Bible is just a book and it's information, but how can I say it? Just to break free from the chains that hold you back, to be your own self. That's the idea of it. That's the idea. So the concept in that album is that if everything would cease to exist, then only those who focus their existence on something that would transcend beyond physical shape, would still be one with the whole universe. That's the idea of it. Under Blackened Skies,
Under Black.
which is like a setting of some sort in my imagination of like how the end of humanity would take place. Maybe under black skies, which is like that's the front cover. If you look at the front cover in that album, is this all black skies, and you see like the world ablaze, with flames. You see like there's buildings and like people lying on the ground dead and stuff, and that represents like the destruction of social structures. And that's why the Reaper that you see, that's this big death figure, with his scythe. It's like if the scythe went like this, doing his thing, and that's why the whole world is ablaze. But only those who focused on being, actual individuals, transcend. That was a very special situation. I met Bill Metoyer through a dear friend of mine that used to be our manager at some point, but then he couldn't do it anymore for his own personal reasons, just family business and stuff. And his name is Jim Mills, so really dear friend, and he was really close friends. He's still he's close friends with Bill. So when we were going to do that album, Jim suggested that we should work with Bill, and he put the whole thing together. and that ended up being really cool because the label also said like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Let's do the bill, because we had that backup, from the record label. For both the record labels, we were in two record labels, and they were happy with the idea. So we said, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for us it was a really special thing because since we were kids, just listening to like the early Metal Blade stuff, like everything that Bill has recorded, that has shaped the sound of metal as we know it.
That's awesome.
Since bands, like even Slayer, Sirithongul, Warlord, you name it, so many, so many bands.
So many.
Yeah, and so when we realized that we could do this album with him, we were like, that would be really nice, And actually, we're gonna do the new album with him as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, especially because he's a really nice guy, super easygoing, and very easy to work with. You would think that because of all the experience he has and all the knowledge that he has, it would be harder. And no, actually it's the opposite. He just makes it easier.
Nice.
And that gives, I guess, well, at least in our case, that made us feel like we're really confident in what we're doing. So it doesn't give you a burden of like oh no, what's he gonna think, or oh this or that. Sometimes things that come to your mind. No, it's totally easy and super fluent. It's just natural, and things happen just like that. It was really nice experience. I first heard, I think, Dissection with their first EP. That was like in 91, 92, 92, something like that. And I was like, hey, this sounds really cool, And I started being a fan. And I don't know, just it's a style that stuck to me, Just there was how can I say it? Just a identification with it, with that particular form of music that just stuck with me throughout the years. And and I've always listened to a lot of European music, so that's maybe also what sometimes people say, like, oh, you guys have a very European sound or something. Mexico, in Mexico, especially like in the early '90s, like there was a lot of European death metal and black metal available that you could get, more than American bands. I think we were always more in Mexico more keen to a European sound than to an American sound. Not saying that the American death metal is bad. I really like a lot of bands like Old Morbid Angel and Possessed and just old Dark Angel and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just personally, it's just what it's stuck around, something. And then there's a little thing that I really don't like about that, because then you kind of can't get a little bit away of it, and then you just keep getting labeled as that, even though what you do, that is different. And every band has their own thing, but I mean, I think people will always try to compare sounds in different bands amongst other bands. Why? I don't know. I mean, I was guilty of that as well when I was younger. As I grew older, I'm just like, well, whatever. They sound how they sound, and they do what they do. But for some reason in the metal genre, it's about, oh, I heard this band, and yeah, first thing that comes to mind sounds like this. Well, why, instead of comparing it to something else, why don't you seek what makes them their own thing? See what I'm saying? But that's what most people don't do. That's what I think. That's a negative aspect of it. But I mean, they compare us a lot to Dissection and stuff like that, and like other bands. But cool. I mean, at least they don't compare us with shit bands. It would be worse to be compared with a crap sounding thing.